This right here will be the this will be the fuel pump we're going to use on this. It's correct for the year model. We got that on eBay. So it needed new seats cut in it and new check balls, which I have already taken care of. Someone in the recent past has done a very good job with the packing and a new plunger shaft with new check balls in it. You can hear them rattle. But the only thing with buying this stuff is, you know, the last one, we had a split right there at that dividing line. You can't see nothing here, but it remains to be seen. We'll put it under pressure. But to carry on with this project, to make that long story short, the fuel pump that was on this engine, and that way we can, and we'll discard this. It's off of an automobile of some kind, and it was mounted onto the skid plate right up here in this area right here with a pipe on this. Check the first video on this series there, and you'll see this. But we're not going to use this. Well, we'll use this one here in place of it. Maybe like the cost on this, keeping account of how much it's going to cost to build this engine. I do have the exact figure made on a note over there. $75 shipping and all, you know. Gas tank $120. So on this video here, let's just catch up to what we have to work with, and because up to now, the new tank here, I don't have I need a pipe right here for the drain, the correct length, and I just put that in there for alignment and all. So I'm not going to install this gas tank video right now. We'll go ahead and put the crankshaft in it, and then I'll get a new length of pipe here correctly, and we'll put the gas tank in there on the video. So, and saying that, let's get the engine situated here, and we'll throw that crankshaft in there. We'll talk about some parts as we go along. Like right here is the bearings, and I've done already cleaned them up and everything, and run the file on them, and I will scrape them. This gray part, hardness on these bearings, I'll scrape that away on both of them. But we do have a good set of Babbitt bearings right there. And the crankshaft, the rod bearing, big end, this part right here was missing. The lip right there, well, it's broken acrossways there. Got some embedded metal and all in it, but you could use this half right here. Well, yeah, you could use this, but this bearing here should be replaced and replaced as a whole, and which I've already got in the crankshaft right there, and from a parts engine there that we disassembled. So I'll keep these just in case we was to ever need them. Well, I'll show you something. I need a 4-inch. I'm gonna use a brass pipe right there. That's 1/4-inch pipe thread on that, and I just got this in there for alignment. So you see we got clearance when we get the correct length on that, and right here we got this already on both sides into the siphon there. So We'll install it. It's all fitted up, ready to use. So we'll install these when once we get this other pipe right here. And I'll show you something of interest. The vent tube on the side of the engine there. This is a 1.5 horsepower, and this is a 3. And they're well, it's about an inch. The 3 horsepower is about an inch longer than the 1.5. But just as a show and tell, because I can go ahead and I've got three washers underneath this right down here. I got 3 washers in there as a shim. It works as a shim to hold it down at the level enough to where this drain pipe will screw into it. And I do have 1 washer on the back end. And keeping in mind that this is the configuration, that's a 3/4 by 3 inch on this particular one right here to give you the right amount of clearance here. And then this is the siphon on this side and the vent on this side, the way that works. But and what I did, just bring you up to date, I took the punch and I measured this right here, how much it was, and they already got a center line on this thing right here, and this right here being the original with the hole in it, you know, you can see about how big it is right there. That's a big old hole right there. It gives a lot of play, a lot of room. So I drilled these holes here about the same size as them is, so it gives a little bit of play right there. But it's a nice looking tank right there. Yeah, I come from Flywheel Supply on the eBay there. Oh yeah, run that tap up in there. You know, clean them threads and everything right there. You know, cleaned all up in there. That's that Rust-Oleum right there, rusty metal primer. It was really clean in there. You know what I mean? But I think that'll suffice as good enough. You know what I mean? That's pretty good right there. I like that Rust-Oleum paint. Well, I'll show you. We'll talk about a couple other things I've observed on this engine right here. To move some parts out of the way and get the engine assembled and started soon. And to bring you up to date what I've done to it and the cost. There's a cost factor here that we're keeping a tally on. But I did run a carbide Demerol type tool, you know, big thing, you know, you add one of them in there and clean up that flash, and then I took a stone, mounted on well, I'll show it to you. One of these stones like this right here, and run it around there, and it made a real nice edge right there. You know what I mean? All the way around there, you know, it done did that. So that's what we did to that, and under there and there. But this sliding governor collar was the one that was on this engine. Well, you could well enough put it right back on, and it would be okay. But as you look at it here, it's been repaired. And what they did is the outside ring right here, it looks to be like it was a turned piece of metal. The original one was maybe broken or something. and they brazed it on with the braze. You can see the two different colors of metal, and then they drilled the hole for this. It's stationary pin right here, and normally that pin would be about a 1/2 inch much longer right here, so that when that slides back, it would hold it in place from turning, and it transfers your wire pattern from this wiring out to this here becomes the wiring item, and it's brass and fits in that collar right there, and it adds a little more looseness to this system, because if this gets all too tight right there, it don't work right. If it's got a little looseness in there, it'll just float right along, you know. But we could use this right here easy enough. But on this engine here, I'm going to go ahead and I happen to have this one off of that parts engine out there, and it's got no repairs. It's really good, like new. So I'm going to run it through that electrolysis tank. I'm not going to add any cost to the engine, for a simple reason that this one right here would be good enough to use. But being that I have this one, I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. I'm going to use that philosophy of how much it costs to repair this engine. Now, and one of the parts that I am going to have to charge, like an eBay price, is this yoke right here on the governor is cracked right here. And it could easily be repaired, brazed or welded. It could easily be. It's good and complete, really nice. And I probably will repair it, but it would just be on like the last one I had to use a repair kit. And they are available on the eBay now. But I'm going to use one off the parts engine out there, and I'm going to charge to the build the eBay price of it, whatever it is. But that way, this engine right here will give credit to that. But and this pin here, back to that, I'm going to replace it with one over there. And what we're going to do, we're going to drill a hole in yonder. Looks like that's already got a hole in it. And we're going to set it right at any rate. And the best way to do it is to drill a hole in the backside right there and put a drift punch in there and drive the old one out, and then you can put a new one in there. But another cost that's going to be a charge to this engine is this is the pipe that was up front there in that gas tank, and by the time I got it out, I done already ruined it. Could not be saved. And this is the drain pipe, same story. Had to put a pipe wrench to it, and the side pipe and the suction pipe. So all of these will be replaced, and whatever the hardware store cost is what will be charged to it. And as you can see right here, one of the greasers is missing. It's been replaced in the past with a Zerk type. So we'll have to get us a greaser off of a parts engine and charge whatever the internet price is. Yeah, all the other parts seems to be pretty good. Some of them exceptionally good. We'll put a new spring. Well, yeah. See, it's wore, well, oh yes, yeah, I would not put this back onto an engine with the option of replacing it, because it's worn more than halfway in. A new spring will be installed. So the problem is this pin is worn off here. So the function of it is that in order to get a a true representation how tall it is, we'll have to have a bearing. But this would be right up here. And what happened on the engine over there, that was riding like this right here, and it was wearing the back side of it out. And as it was, it wore the top of this off here a lot. So, and it's a hole in here that keeps this in position, and the brass collar around here is the part that turns. So, and that would be right there. It's worn off, so it has to be long enough so that when the governor pulls this way, it has to be, it moves 1/4 of an inch. So what I figured, this is 1/4 inch plate right there. So that's how much this collar moves. So that pin will need to be of a sufficient length as such when that collar moves into this position here, it still has like 1/8 of an inch or so, a good 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16, I guess, more longer, to the point not to exceed this flange up here, because when the governor is right here, when it goes back down, it can't hit this part here, so it can't be no longer than that. So I'm going to turn that over to the side. I'm going to put this back in there. This will be the position that it has to exceed that. If I measure right down in there with that depth and adding maybe 1/4 of an inch at least, that would be it right there. So to this number, I will add. Let's put a mark right there. Okay, let's remove that, and it's 200. I'll show you something. If you put the micrometer on it, it's 249 thousandths. It's 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch roundness there. So let's knock that out. And normally this hole would not be here. Someone in the past has broken that off or needed to be replaced, so they drilled a hole in the back, and you can take a punch in the back like this and knock it out. It always goes to the floor, even with trying to save it around that way. Okay, this is what we got. This is the part that was protruding. There's our mark. So from this mark to the end, that's 3/4 exactly. know, it's and one of the benefits when they drilled that hole in there, it's not perfect in alignment with the hole out here. It's offset just a little bit. That's a good thing, because when I drive my new pin in there, I want it to bottom out against that shoulder. So that's a good thing. Now let's cut us a pin there and we'll put it in there. I'm going to use this right here. It's that's some 1/4 inch rod right there. It measures right out there at 250. So yeah, we'll cut a length of this right here and get it right in there. That last hammer blow right there was very firm. I'm sure the camera picked that up. That's a very good fit right there. It took a strong, solid hammer blows each time, I noticed. But I cut this a little bit long. The reason we can fit it exactly. And it was a question also arose. The question was this pin that was in it, was it drove to the bottom? You know, was there some existing room down here? So I cut that long in case they were. But if you look at our line, it's exactly 1 nib thickness, exactly like you had drew it on there. Very good. But in order to get exactly how much we're going to cut off there, we'll set everything back as it's going to be again. And it's okay. Well, you would think that this is the clearance. So we pull this 1/4 inch out, and this right here, it's not touching it, but it's within it's within the thickness of this ruler clearance. So in theory, it should be okay like that. But no, it's too close because of wear and tear. So it needs to be cut off. So let's put our extreme length back in there, and you see we have about a 1/2 inch here. Let's cut that half in two. We got a 1/4 inch remaining there to hold it secure. Now, when we go back down, when I cut that 1/4 inch off, it's going to be more clearance in there. So let's get that done. Let's try it again. Well, how about well, that's 1/4 of an inch. Exactly the height of this thickness here, that's a 1/4 inch scale. So, and then when you take the shim out, go down, now you've got the 1/2 inch in there. Oh, that'll work very good. Let's install it on the engine. We'll clean that up right there. Very good. Yeah, we'll get that ready for paint. Yeah, we got 2 more to do.